I have a question about the importance of a vegan diet to the practice. At the moment, I don't have a vegan diet, and it's a bit of a sticking point for me in my practice. I'm thinking of possibly applying to become an aspirant, and it's stopping me. I suppose my question really is that I see that there is suffering in all of the food that we eat. I live in a farming area, and I'm aware that whenever the harvest comes, that a lot of small animals die, even with the process of harvesting the grain. So although I see a lot of suffering in eating meat and eating dairy, I suppose I see this suffering in a vegan diet as well. So I'm looking for some insight.
I'll keep it brief so that I can allow Sister Sangim to respond to this question. If she feels inspired. I also have similar insight. Before I became a monk, I also eat meat. Even now, I'm not 100% vegan. I'm doing my best to be vegan. As a community, in Plum Village, we don't offer dairy product in our retreat centers. So as a community, we are vegan. But personally, because I come from Indonesia, also from another tradition, and as we are aware of, even within Buddhist orders, within Buddhist traditions, monks in Thailand, monks in Burma, they don't observe even vegetarianism. They eat meat, but they don't ask for people to offer meat. But when people offer meat, they eat them. So to take the 5 mindfulness trainings doesn't mean that you have to become a vegan. So that needs to be clear in your mind. 5 mindfulness training is just like the Northern Star. It's a guideline. Only when our heart resonates with what's being offered as a guideline, then we do it. And there's no point for us to follow if it doesn't speak to our heart. So I really resonate with what you have just shared, because I'm also aware that eating the oats and the wheats and rice and everything of the farming product, we are also consuming a lot of suffering of the insects, because of the insecticides that they put, and then it's harming our Mother Earth. And so it's not the questions of being vegan or not vegan, vegetarian or not vegetarian. It's this understanding and then this compassion that we cultivate through our practice, that we are able to slowly progress. Like for my case, I was not fully vegetarian, and then after I became a novice monk, I became a vegetarian, and I experienced the process. I experienced it, and I stopped, and then I look within myself. What's changed in me? Do I feel better? Do I feel it's in line with my values? And instead of focusing so much on the negative things, that I start to water more on the wholesome and more positive. I'm not saying that this is good or bad, but I feel better. I feel it's in line with my values, so I go along with it. And then it's the same with veganism. Whether or not I eat vegan, I choose the product that I consume. I choose mostly bio product, if possible, if it's available. But sometimes they're not available in our neighborhood. Then there's no choice. And we need to eat. So in that sense, I practice moderation. I think moderation is a very good word. If we don't overconsume, then we're already contributing. Coming to a retreat for 5 days, eating vegan food, wholesome non-dairy food, here, you're already contributing. 1 contribute, 200 contribute 200 times. So imagine for the past 5 days, 200 of us are already contributing something by coming to a retreat like this. And so it is a matter of what really resonates in our heart, and we go along with it and slowly making steps mindfully, through this process. And then, the law of impermanence is, it changes all the time. So I would advise to follow your heart and really feel, experience what speaks to your heart.
So, dear Sangha, I'd just like to add a small thing, is that for us to become vegans, it also had to do with the environment. So it was an environmental choice also. Because, of course, also if you eat vegan, it doesn't mean that, like, we don't contribute to some suffering. I think it's very difficult to live and not to create suffering at all. But we can do our best as much as possible, so we can have a look at what our to the extent to which extent our consumption contributes to suffering. And so our main thing is to have compassion. And also for us, it was just to see that at the scale that we have cows and, well, I think mainly cows, that it's not only that that we feel that there's a kind of like a lack of respect for the needs and the needs of the cows, but also that just the way of raising and like what comes out of them, like has a lot of methane, and so that contributes also a lot to the greenhouse gases, and so that is one thing. On the other hand, also like when it's being spread out over the fields, there's a lot of ammonia going into the air. So it also contributes a lot to what we breathe in, like building small particles. So on different levels, we see that the way we are raising the cows and the chickens, it nourishes compassion in us and also compassion for our planet. And so maybe, like if we eat meat, maybe we can see like, oh, maybe we can eat less meat. It doesn't always need to be completely black and white. Maybe we can think, oh, maybe I can eat less. Or also if we are vegetarian and we are thinking of becoming vegan, but we're not ready to take the full step, then maybe we can also have less dairy. So I think we do our best to nourish our compassion and to make educated choices. So also these mindfulness trainings, they're also a way to become more aware, like, oh, what are we consuming and what does that mean for me, for my environment? So I think we can always learn more. Yeah.
Dear respected Thầy, dear brother and sister, dear friends, before I come up to here, Sister Annabelle told me that you please come and you just need to answer only one question. And I thought that I finished my responsibility with the question of the boy. I'm scared to sit in front of a lot of people. I just share to you my own experience. I was vegetarian 1 year before I decided to leave my home in Vietnam to go to Plum village to be a nun. But 2 days already have to be. I was 1 year vegetarian, but only 2 days before the ordination. In the afternoon, and I lie on a bed in a room, and I smell something like the seafood drilling. Yes, seafood drilling. And I asked also sister, now it's my sister in ordination family, but at the moment we are all aspirant. I asked, can you hear something smelling? And you smell something very interesting. And I thought, so amazing. She said, amazing. Why in the temple there is that smelling? And I don't know, but I did. I'm here still now. I still smell that. And then she smiled. And then that night, I have a dream. A dream that I told to my mom, Mom, I would like to eat pork. I would like to eat pork. And I see my mom hold a knife, and a pig standing in front of me. And she hold a knife, step to the pig. And the pig didn't look at my mom, but look at me, stare at me, and she cried. And she cried. And I look at her, and I wake up. And that moment, I know that even I was a vegetarian only 1 year, more than 1 year, but my consciousness still not changed. Keep something because I eat when I was a child a long time to have that, and like the smelling I have in the afternoon is something from my consciousness. Remind me, because I know 2 more days I become a nun and no choice anymore. Yeah. And the eyes of the pig at that moment, I never forget in my life. And at that moment, remind me that whatever I eat in the past, that give me the happiness, that is the suffering from the other living beings. And from that until now, so I no any motivation to eat any meat or something, because the eyes of the pig. And my mind, I feel that I'm very happy and completely satisfied with the vegetarian, as a vegetarian. At that moment, I really accept. And my mother, she, after 3 months in Plum village with me, after I become a nun, she come to visit me, stay there with me 3 months, and she loved to also to be vegetarian. When she went home, she said to me like that. But because she had to cook for sister and my nephews, they couldn't eat only vegetarian. But she loved to have that. And I know that she has that confliction in her heart. And I shared to her that, of course, as a nun, I'm very happy that you are vegetarian, because I have my own experience like that. I told her that story. But we practice how the way we practice should be suitable with the condition we have, the situation we have. Wherever you go to shop to buy meat or fish to cook for sister, you are aware that you are consuming something not good for living beings, but give them the energy of compassion, because all living beings would like to have to alive, but we kill them and they keep the energy of hatred inside that, and we consume that. It's not good for our health. Please send the compassion and to them. And I just share to her, and she keep practice and aware whatever she consume, my family consume. And also the same, if the important thing is we nourish the compassion inside us, and we share with our neighbor. Whenever you, with the understanding, we don't blame or we don't evaluate him or her. We don't without judgment. We just whatever you consume, please send the energy of peace and compassion to that. He died. The chicken or the pig died because for our food. And I think that the way we water the seeds of compassion to the people, and sometimes the seeds of the love, compassion, understanding will grow up in the person we are watering, and they will give up by themselves. That's the and we have enough peace in us, and they can do whatever with the peace, with their choice, and they will be happy. And thank you for listening. I hope that clear. So excuse my English.